especially the leadership of MOES, for organizing an event like this. Energy for me. Energy is a very important aspect of our lives, and it drives everything that we do. If we lost energy now, we probably wouldn't be able to hear each other, even within this room. The environment will change, and we'll have probably a very boring session. So we thank you for recognizing that energy is the fuel that drives everything that we do in the faculty, but also in our homes and in the country in general. And therefore, it is good for us to conserve the energy we use. So I thank you for organizing this conference, and I welcome you to this event. I am hopeful that we have a number of things that we are going to learn from each other, and we hope that this is going to be an annual event that is organized by our faculty and by our student body. We pledge to improve the participation of the different lecturers within our faculty and also within the general university environment to be part of this wonderful occasion. On my own behalf, I want to thank everyone for coming, and I wish you very good deliberations as we start the journey of energy and understanding what energy does for us, and trying to do research and in many aspects of the energy that drives whatever we do. Thank you so much, and I want to declare this session open.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jones Obungoloch. Another round of applause for such a gentleman. I must say that in this university, for the 4 years I've been here, okay, 3.5, because I'm just at the beginning of my tenure here. He has been my wonderful dean, and I have learned a lot from him, because there are very many sessions that I've always been moderating, and he is someone who is down to earth, selfless in nature, and always willing to share with each and everyone. Just besides him, I would like to recognize the presence of the dean, the presence of the head of department, that's Petroleum Engineering and Environmental Management, Mr. Kabanda. You can stand up and wave at the public, because there are freshers within here who don't really know who you are. I also take this opportunity to recognize the presence of the Deputy Dean, Mr. Bosa. You are most welcome, and please, you can also stand up and, yeah, with all other members, distinguished guests in the house, I must say you are most welcome to be with us here. Your coming is going to be of great substance. It is not only motivational, but it is also going to be substantial. All the students of MUST and doing a great job.
And so I don't expect anyone in the room that generally has no idea about what we have today. It's as important as that power that saves this patient that is about to die somewhere. But it is also as important as the fact that we are able to walk around and we have day and night, simply because there's one aspect called sun. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Sankara Biaruhanga. I'm from Innovation Village. I'm the community manager. We have, I think, less than 10 minutes, if I can remember. So I will briefly tell you about the Innovation Village. We are simply a hub that seeks to work with young people towards harnessing an ecosystem that works for both startups and maybe SMEs. And we do that by building capacity, linking to finance, but also within our growth services, we ensure that you launch from an idea to a business out there. I'm also a team leader at Creative Campus, and in that we only focus on creatives. But nonetheless, recently we hosted the US ambassador. I don't know who actually attended that at the Innovation Village. We have some people that attended when the US ambassador at Uganda visited Innovation Village. Certainly not. Do we have anyone who is in AWE, the Academy for Women Entrepreneurs? It's also a US embassy program, which we coordinate also here in the West. Certainly not. But most important is the partnerships with the US. And out of that time, you'd allow me have Enoch take us through the platform within the next 8 minutes. I'm sure that definitely will not be enough. But in case you will want to have more understanding of how the platform will be able to work, you can means you can sing. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello. How are you guys? I'm called Enoch Nyende. I'm from Creative Campus, and I've been told to take you through a platform that helps people energy. By jobs, I mean it can be a freelancer job, it can be a gig, whatever name you want to give it. So there are other platforms that could do the same, but when I was growing up, they used to tell me it's easier to get something if you limit the options. There are other platforms. There is Upwork and other platforms that I would not want to mention now because of they could help you do the same, but because they have different options, by options I mean they have different gigs that are in different fields, they couldn't be more helpful in this regard. So the platform I'm going to take you through is only targeting energy and petroleum. So if you want a freelancer gig in any of those categories, this would be the best platform for you. So as my colleague said, platform is starting up and it's in partnership with the USA Embassy. And majority of the features in this platform do not yet support Ugandan people or African people. They are more of American jobs or freelancer gigs. But when the ambassador was here, beginning next year, that they're going to work on, so that you have jobs that are open in a nation. The platform is called, so I'll just type it in. So this is the platform. I've spent a month trying out this platform. As I said, it's beginning up, but it's promising. And the best feature it has, it's that it only caters for energy gigs. So I will just log into my account, but you probably have to sign up here. And since I said it's only catering now for USA citizens, you would find that you would need to pick like how is it called? A state. They normally have states. I don't know, for us we have regions. So you would probably pick a state. When I was signing up a state, it's called Alabama. And this is just to let you know of the features. So the internet is not really, but put this so that I show you. I'm just a developer, so I just put this to show you all about what the platform does. So this is the experience, and from other platforms that do the same, it is really on your advantage to make sure you have a very nice profile. Of course, now here it's not so neat in form of bidding. So there are different people who are bidding for the same job. So that means the person who has posted the job will probably weigh up who is more as in suited for the job, and that is what he will hire. So this is where you find the jobs. As you can see, I put my location. My industry as oil and gas. So that's why they're only showing me jobs of oil and gas here in the industry. You can see they only show me jobs that are for oil and gas. So I envision that by next year, you will be seeing more of these, but in Uganda or in Kenya or just here in Rwanda, that is what is going to make it interesting. So there's a sense in this with some of my colleagues who are the first on TikTok, and right now it's really, their accounts are really doing great. So for things that are starting up like these ones, it's better you join
contention and in agreement with what it is saying. However, not all times that whenever it nods that head, it is in agreement. Probably some of you were knocking the head just to make sure that the one presenting is in the same boat with you. Mr. Sankara and Mr. Enoch have been with us in and out. They have struggled thin and thick to always make sure that Mbarara University of Science and Technology, and in particular the Faculty of Applied Sciences and Technology, move forward, and also to sell this university to the rest of the world. Next on our agenda, we are to have a presentation on renewable energy initiatives at MUST. But before I go any further, to leave your places of residence, the Friday that we wanted to Friday has finally decided to Friday the day we wanted it to Friday. So a loud of applause to yourselves. This has been a special moment that is organized by special people, attended by special people, and at the same time, it has also been in a special university with special initiatives and special organizations. The Society of Petroleum Engineering has not only been working alone to make this come through and to make it a success. We have, and we are going to still be working with very many bodies, and amidst us, we have teams from UNOC, that's the Uganda National Oil Company, and I must say, we should recognize them. We do have Mr. Katunji Roni, a ray of optimism, an academic juggernaut or an academic icon, and is the CEO of Barrow Magazine. We have a team from PAU, that is the Petroleum Authority of Uganda. We are honored and thrilled to have all of you within the house. To mention, but not least, we do have the UCMP, that's the Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum, UCOPS, in conjunction with Valerius. And most importantly, for the first time, we are working hand in hand with the Centenary Bank. Yes. As the team from the one that is going to take us through the presentation on renewable energy, headed by Mr. J.B. Kauta, the president of SPE incumbent, and his vice, who is not within the house, that's Newton. Actually, to clear some information, the team on a presentation on renewable energy initiatives at MUST is being headed by none other than our Deputy Dean of Faculty, that's Mr. Dennis Bosa. A loud of applause for him. Yeah, he is one in a few who love to work hand in hand with the students and also who bring them aboard. That's why you see he's working with these ones. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to welcome Dr. Jones Obungoloch, the head of UCOPS, who is going to take us through this groundbreaking session. And I do believe that his session is going to leave an indelible mark that will be a testament for both the future generations, the current generations, And at some point, even those generations who came a little bit before us. So prepare to be inspired by a person who is what? Prepare to be inspired by a gentleman, Dr. John Zobungoloch. Of course, he's an academic icon. Thank you so much.
Is it still morning? It's good afternoon now. Good afternoon, everyone. This MC is dropped. Thank you for all the introductions and the accolades. So I'm not really into energy. I'm into biomedical engineering. My background is biomedical engineering. So I'm also a senior lecturer in the Department of Biomedical Engineering. But I work with my brother here, Dr. Bossa, who is the Deputy Dean. And we do some research in energy, and especially renewable energy. Like I said earlier, energy affects everyone, so it doesn't matter whether which engineering discipline or whichever discipline you are in, you will need to interact with energy in a way. So we have an initiative that we are calling Increased Access and Utilization of Affordable Energy Technologies. And this came in as an observation that many of our energy initiatives die immediately after the initiative has ended. The uptake of such energies is normally very low by the local people, and including ourselves, that we don't take much, we don't take up most of these energy initiatives. So this is part of a larger project in collaboration with a number of institutions, as you are seeing here, and we call it UCOBS because the university is a facilitator for community-based sustainable solutions to demographic challenges in southwestern Uganda. So we are looking at the energy part, but there are also other aspects of the project that includes environmental conservation, for instance, adolescent and child health, innovations and entrepreneurship, agriculture, and climate change, and also a subsection of ICT, information and communications technology. So this is just part of a bigger cog in the bigger project that we are dealing with. But as we all know, that energy, like I said earlier, is what drives most of us, is the fuel that drives our communities. And as we can see that the conventional energy prices such as gas and petroleum, the prices are going up. Every time I drive around and I look at the prices at the petrol stations, and you look at 5,700 and you're like, wow, this 50K of mine can't even give me 5 liters now. So the prices are going up, but we also have increase in our population. We are probably about 45 million people now in Uganda, and very few of these people are actually using electricity, as I would say it, including in town. Many of us are happy that we have electricity in our houses, but we only use it for lighting and a bit of ironing, and maybe the students have percolators, they can boil water, but that's pretty much it. The rest of the other energy that we use is the biomass. And as a result, we lot of our natural resources, for instance, the forests that we use, and of course that comes up with also release of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. There are also challenges associated with health because of this kind of biomass that we use. And in many cases, we think that these are the people that are destroying the environment. But you heard last time when the president was banning importation of charcoal from the northern part of the country, and instead people in Kampala were crying, not the people in the north. So you realize that we are the ones who pay these people to do this. Okay? When I go to my village, you come back with 2 bags of charcoal in your boot. Okay? So these people don't use any charcoal. We are the ones who actually use the charcoal. So we are saying, can't we afford better sources of energy, starting from within ourselves? Last week I was at the Center for Energy Research in Makerere Creek, and I was saying that if a professor at the university cannot afford to cook using electricity, then this electricity is for who? Who is it meant for? Because you cannot expect a lady like this to use it if I cannot afford to use it for cooking. Okay? So I also look for charcoal to cook, and the electricity is just for lighting us. So our project is aiming at increasing access and utilization of affordable energy technologies. And we have 2 objectives. One is to develop those technologies that we are talking about, okay, if they do not exist. And the other is to transfer and adopt these new technologies into our daily usage. And when we started the project about a year ago, we thought we are going to develop technologies, but we have actually seen that technologies exist. We've been to Makerere, we've been to other places, and we have seen that people have developed some of these technologies, but they remain in the shelf. So our biggest work is actually now to increase access, okay? Upscale these energy technologies and to increase access to it. So our areas of focus are socio-economic implications of the non-traditional energy technologies. We think that there is a social aspect to the energy that is probably preventing the uptake of some of these energy technologies. For instance, again, in some place they were showing us some technologies that you can use for cooking, but it requires that you soak your beans in the night and then you cook it in the morning. You take only a very few minutes to cook the beans. But that will require that I know that tomorrow I'm going to eat the beans. Okay? Which is another thing, because sometimes I come here to my office and then the house help calls me at around 11 and says, "Daddy, what are we eating today?" And I'm like, "It's 11 o'clock. Maybe we can just eat some cabbage because time has already gone." Okay? So you see that there is no planning in what we are going to eat. We live by, some of us are very faithful, we live by the Bible, that live tomorrow for tomorrow. Okay? So it requires some planning to plan. So you wake up in the morning not knowing what you are going to eat for lunch, not knowing what you are going to eat for dinner, but to be able to appreciate some of these technologies requires that you plan your cooking, okay, and you know what you are going to cook tomorrow and the next day and something like that. So we think that there is a component of a social implication, sort of a mindset change that we need to take people through to be able to appreciate some of these technologies. Somebody will tell you, "I cannot use electricity or solar to cook my matoke because it doesn't taste nice." Okay? And I can see somebody shaking their head there that it is true. Okay? But in my place, before I came to Western Uganda here, we would mingle matoke with a stick, just like kalo. And it would taste nice also, to me. But here they say it doesn't taste nice. Why shouldn't it taste nice? So matoke that you can boil for 5 minutes, they boil it for 3 hours. And you are wondering, why are you boiling all this for all that time? So we need some mindset change. But we are also looking at biomass as an energy carrier or a source. Can we use better biomass? Instead of cutting a whole tree down, you can imagine a tree that has been growing for 25 years. Somebody cuts it in 3 hours and then it is done. Can we use some components of the tree and we live together with the tree? Okay? So if we can use things like husks, okay, to cook, it might help the trees to grow. And then also we are looking at solar as an energy, renewable energy technology. And we are focusing mostly on the solar cooking because we think this is the major challenge at the moment. When you are to cook with solar, you say you have a parabolic mirror, then you put it in the sun there. So when the sun is like this now, you probably won't be able to cook. So when the rain comes, you carry your appliances, you run inside, and you say, we will cook tomorrow, but what are you going to eat today? Okay? So we think that we can do a little bit better with the solar cooking technologies. So we are looking into storage of that solar energy to make it applicable to cook even when the sun is not there. So some of the outcomes that we expect are solar and biomass technologies that should be developed throughout the period of the project. We are setting up a renewable energy lab behind there. We have already bought some equipment and tools, and we have ordered some more. So we think that this energy lab should be available to students to do research and maybe also spur more research. We think that people should adopt the use of renewable energy that are developed, and also reduction in the use of the fuel wood and charcoal. And we think that we could also have some training of researchers. And this also starts from us. We have tried to carry an energy audit of this building, and I think we are going to repeat the process because we didn't have the tools to do the energy audit very well. But we see that there's a lot of energy wastage in buildings like this. Somebody came here and said, if you have an energy officer here, you could save a lot of energy. Somebody just to switch off the lights to make sure that there is no lights in the rooms that people are not using. That saving alone could be able to pay that person, and even the university could remain with some money. But of course, we also have our own bureaucracies of adopting such initiatives or advice. We expect to develop some policies to promote the use of renewable energies for research. It's sometimes embarrassing when power goes and the sun is blaring and you don't have energy in the building. And we can't do lectures. We have to start running a generator and all that kind of thing. So we think that if we develop some policies, we make renewable energy as part of the development program. If you are putting up a huge building like this, can you incorporate some renewable energy into the cost of the construction? Maybe then we will not be able to realize it as something which is very expensive. But after you have put up a building, and then you say, okay, now solar, then the guys come say, we need to chisel there, we need to chisel there, then you say, I think maybe we just leave the thing. But if you had planned for it earlier, it becomes easier to adopt it. And also, if people adopt this reduction in the use of fuel wood, maybe we should have some reduction in health complications. And we are trying to foster collaborations between the university and the communities and other institutions. And I am happy that we have other institutions represented here. I'm hoping that we can foster better collaboration and even increase the scope of this project that we are doing. I want to thank you so much again and say that let's work together to conserve and use the energy that we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jones Obungoloch. Ladies and gentlemen, a loud of applause for Dr. Jones Obungoloch. His presentation has been so captivating to an extent that it decided to catch the essence of the event. I must say we are obliged and happy. And I beseech you, the Chihumuro students, to always engulf and combat such opportunities when they come around. In simple terms, try to engage yourselves with whatever opportunity that the dean tries as much as possible to present to you. In his presentation, he spoke about cooking, and Chihumuro students, you know very well you have a challenge when it comes to food. I always tell you, or I always tell those people who are not members of Chihumuro, that on your way here, this building looks like a luxurious hotel. But little do you know that the people who reside within rarely have 3 meals per day. Some of them Ladies and gentlemen, we have faced a few technical challenges, and because of the unpredictable predicaments, the hula baloo, the hig hug, and the grinkum grankum, allow me say that that session shall have it in a few hours from now, a few minutes, because we are having a technical glitch somewhere. However, the session is not coming to an end. SPE, or this session, is a palm tree from which each and every one of us can tap. Amidst us, we are having the Barrow Magazine team, and it is headed by none other than Mr. Katunji Roni. So, ladies and gentlemen, prepare to be inspired by a man of hope, someone who is an educational icon, and someone who has a lot to deliver, who has achieved a lot, and who is also willing to learn from you as you learn from him. That is none other than Mr. Katunji Roni, the one in charge of Barrow Magazine. A loud of applause as we usher in Mr. Katunji Roni.
Good afternoon, everyone. You guys okay? It's almost lunchtime. I heard you have less than 3 meals a day. I'm worried. Eh? Well, students normally have a lot of energy, so they need food. My name is Engineer Roni Bravo Katunji. I am familiar with Mbara because I went to school in Intare. Spent 4 years in Intare school and Intare Obis. And I'm surprised there are a few. But anyway, I'm honored and happy to be here today to do a small presentation about Barrow Magazine. I always enjoy when I come to face students because, you know, they're filled with optimism. You're still open-minded, and, you know, you still have a broader outlook on life. And, you know, it hasn't yet been clogged by life. So I enjoy speaking to students. So my background, I am a chemical engineer by training. I did my bachelor's in a university called Surrey in the UK. And then I did my master's also there in refining and petrochemicals. I've worked in design, you know, petrochemicals and refineries and abroad. Then I came back home. I'm currently working with National Enterprise Corporation. It's called NEC. Many people don't know it, but it's the business arm of the UPDF. But today, I am here in the Barrow shoes. I run which is sector specific in oil and gas, called Barrow Magazine. And see it, I didn't anticipate. Okay. So Barrow is specific corporate magazine covering Uganda's oil and gas industry with a global perspective. I know there is so many news channels out there, but you would wonder why would an engineer be studying something that is seemingly in the media. But engineers are taught to solve, and at the time I started Barrow, I thought there was a problem of lack of the right information, misinformation everywhere. So I thought there was need for an industry-specific magazine that talks about everything oil and gas. So what does it do? It's a quarterly magazine that produces that in-depth update across the oil and gas value chain. And it also provides a platform for industry experts in various fields such as HSC, health, safety and environment, process engineers, project managers, R&D, and all other industry technical people to weigh in on the various topics of oil and gas in the industry to increase the knowledge base of Uganda's oil and gas industry. As you know, it is quite in Uganda, but it's been around for very many years. It's not very new in Uganda. As your students, you would know that they started looking for petrochemicals here in Uganda, for petroleum reserves back in 1903 or 1906, around there. So they have been looking for oil in Uganda for a long time, but we're now in that phase of development and production where the real magic happens. So to that extent, it's quite new in Uganda. And so there is a need to increase the knowledge base in the country of what happens in the industry. So Barrow provides a platform where people that have been in the industry for a while can weigh in on the topics, on the different topics around the oil and gas industry. It's a very short presentation, so don't you worry. Our objectives. Hello, can you hear me? Okay. So the objective of Barrow is to be a one-stop source for oil and gas industry specific information and a resource, oil and gas specific information and resources in Uganda, and later on, hopefully, in East Africa. We also aim to identify and communicate the challenges and hopefully find solutions to the different components across the oil and gas sector. So in other places where they have an oil and gas industry, they do have something like Barrow, where people from the academic, the academic institutions, people from that are practicing in the industry, even students, get to weigh in on the topics of the day. Sometimes there are challenges, there are industry-specific information for Uganda, whether you write to PAU, because unless I launched Barrow, have weekly newsletters. We try to put as much resources. We put some, we haven't yet started, but we'll be posting jobs on there. Opportunities in the sector. We'll be posting information that we think is useful. Okay. So please do go on our website and check it out. You could also follow us on Twitter. Okay. So what I'm going to say is probably more useful to the year 2010. And the technology is already obsolete, okay? So be part of the learning process. When you learn, go back, check what's good to Barrow Magazine. We have an editorial team, and if you pick up the Barrow, you will see it has multiple authors. We have people from the PAU, we have people from UNOC, we have people from the bar sector. So we are open to anyone and everyone that is interested in writing for us. Please contact us through our channels. Also, our email address is r.katunji@barrowmagazine.com. You can email me directly. Are we not still in November? Yes, it came out this month. The most biggest person in Uganda's oil and gas sector, the general manager of Total Energies, and he goes in depth to talk about what they're doing in Total, what is the local content. We have articles from PAU, Mr. Ali Sekatawa, giving you in depth about what's currently happening in the space of local. I think finally it's working. Huh? Okay. So we have a lot of content, and as I said, I have some few copies that I'm going to be giving out for free. Put them on the table outside, and yes, you can reach out to us and give us content that can appear in our next magazines. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Katunji Roni. Thanks to Martin and the team who have made sure that we are now ready to have our...
Can you hear me? Okay, great. Should I go now? Hello? Hello? Okay, should I? Okay, great, great. All right, I'll just put on my video for the start so that you can see who is speaking behind the screen. And then I'll share my presentation. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Anita Ankunda. I work with the Uganda National Oil Company. And thank you to the organizers for this, for putting this together. I will make a presentation. Allow me to share my screen. Please do let me know if you can see it. Can you see my screen? Okay, great. It's a pleasure to talk to you today. And thanks again to the organizers of the SPE Energy for Me workshop for the invitation. As mentioned earlier, my name is Anita Ankunda. I work with the Uganda National Oil Company as the Senior Petroleum Economist. And I'll give a brief background about myself with regards to my academic background. I have a bachelor's degree in business economics, a master's in energy economics from the University of Dundee, and a master's in business administration from University of South Wales. I have been working in the Uganda National Oil Company for 6 years now. And prior to that, I was with the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development for about 6 years. Okay, so in our discussion today, I'll briefly talk about the oil and gas governance structure in Uganda, after which I'll give a background of the Uganda National Oil Company, its mandate, the key projects, and then dive into the environment, social and governance aspects within UNOC, including the key relevant topics such as energy transition. And then I'll conclude by talking about the upcoming opportunities in the sector and tie this into today's theme, which is energy education, lessons from professionals and students, as well as the career pathways. Okay, so looking at this slide, Uganda's oil and gas sector governance structure is comprised of 4 key government institutions. Oh, you're not seeing what I'm projecting? Okay. Please do let me know once that's okay. Okay, should I? Sorry? Okay, okay, I can share this presentation and on email, and probably you could project it on your end. Would that work? Okay, you can see the presentation now. It would be good to see what I'm talking about. Please confirm. Okay. Okay, great. Sorry about the technical glitch. I'll get back into the presentation. I hope the slide you're seeing is with regards to the sector governance in the oil and gas sector. So Uganda's oil and gas sector governance structure is comprised of 4 key government institutions. These include the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, and basically this is responsible for policy formulation, investor promotion and licensing. Another key institution in the sector is the Petroleum Authority of Uganda. I'm sure you all know its mandate, which is to regulate the oil and gas sector. The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development is responsible for the fiscal regime, and last but not least, the Uganda National Oil Company, which has the mandate to handle the commercial aspects of the oil and gas sector on behalf of the state. So basically, the Uganda National Oil Company, which I'll keep referring to as UNOC, was set up to ensure that the oil and gas sector is profit-making for the benefits of all Ugandans. So I'll move to the next slide, which talks about UNOC's mandate. So this slide gives us UNOC's mandate. UNOC was established under the Upstream and Midstream Acts of 2013, and it was incorporated in 2015 under the Companies Act of 2012. And it's a limited liability company, which is wholly owned by the government of Uganda. We have 2 shareholders, that is the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development with 51% shareholding, as well as the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development with 49% shareholding. So as mentioned earlier, UNOC's mandate is to handle the government's commercial interests in the petroleum sector and to ensure that the oil and gas resource is exploited in a sustainable manner. So as still under UNOC, I'll give a brief background on what UNOC is all about. We have 2 subsidiaries. One is the Uganda Refinery Holding Company, and this is basically for refining and petrochemical related businesses. And the other subsidiary is the National Pipeline Company, which basically deals in the pipeline and the storage and the downstream trading business in the oil and gas sector. Okay, so moving to the next slide. So this slide basically shows the vertically integrated nature of UNOC. What do I mean by this? This simply means that UNOC operates across the entire petroleum value chain. That's in the upstream, the midstream, and the downstream. The upstream basically looks at licensing, getting licenses for the different fields, exploration, development, and production of the crude oil resources. Under the upstream, we are mandated to, we being UNOC, we are mandated to manage 15% participating interest on behalf of the state in the 9 production licenses. Our partners in the upstream are Total Energies and CNOOC. CNOOC is the China National Offshore Oil Company, and these are the operators of the Tilenga and Kingfisher projects respectively. I'll move on to the midstream. This basically looks at transportation and refining of the crude oil resources that have been produced from the upstream. So UNOC also deals in this through the different subsidiaries that I mentioned earlier. Under the Uganda Refinery Holding Company, we have 40% stake in Uganda's refinery, and this refinery will be based in Kavale Parish in Hoima. Not Kavale, but Kavale, different places that most people get mixed up. Uganda's refinery will produce a number of petroleum products such as petrol, diesel, jet fuel, liquefied petroleum gas, heavy fuel oil, and this will contribute to the country's energy security. Additionally, we'll also manage the promotion of the Kabalega Industrial Park. This park, located in Hoima, will host the refinery, the second international airport, the petrochemical industries, and other energy-based industries, among others. So additionally, UNOC through NPC is the other subsidiary that I talked about, that's the National Pipeline Company, is mandated to hold participating interest of up to 15% in the East African Crude Oil Pipeline Project. This is what you usually hear as ECOP on behalf of Uganda. So I'll move on to the downstream. This entails the storage, distribution, marketing, and sales of refined products. So UNOC through the National Pipeline Company is mandated to develop, manage, and operate the different storage terminals, and it will hold national strategic reserves to ensure that our country has energy security. We currently manage and operate 30 million capacity ginger storage terminal, and we have completed a master plan for the development of the Kampala storage terminal. So UNOC has also commenced in bulk trading, and this will be a source of revenue, not only for UNOC, but the country at large. And we're working to build capacity in the trading business of bulk petroleum products from the refinery. So in a nutshell, those are the projects that UNOC handles across the entire value chain of the oil and gas sector. So I won't labor on this, but this is UNOC at a glance. The different projects that UNOC deals in, UNOC operates across the entire value chain in key projects such as the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, the Kabalega Industrial Park, Tilenga, Kingfisher, bulk trading, refinery, among others. I hope the slide that you're seeing is UNOC at a glance. Please do let me know if you can see and hear me. Well, see what I'm projecting and hear my voice. Okay, great. Okay, so I'll move to the next slide. I won't labor on this as I've given a bit of detail on that. Key project updates. With regards to the upstream, the final investment decision, which is the famous FID of the upstream, particularly in the Tilenga and Kingfisher projects, was achieved. That was in February of 2022. Development drilling commenced in the Kingfisher development area, and the enabling infrastructure is currently ongoing. There are a number of business opportunities in the upstream, such as provision of services, including hotels, accommodation, among others. The other key project in the upstream is the new ventures. So what do I mean by new ventures? This typically refers to the exploration and development activities to discover and exploit more oil and gas resources. There are a number of unexplored and undeveloped areas, so UNOC is engaging in the new ventures as well. We've signed production sharing agreements with for the Kasurubani block in the upstream. So that's a summary of the key update in the upstream. The other project is the East African Crude Oil Pipeline Project, abbreviated as ECOP. So this is a long pipeline. It's about 1,445 kilometers that will run from the upstream in the Albertine Graben region, that's in Hoima district, all the way to the coast in Tanga, that's Tanzania. And this pipeline will be a transportation vessel for the crude that will be produced from the upstream and later sold to the international market. In the East African Crude Oil Pipeline Project, we have a number of shareholders. UNOC has 15% shareholding, Total Energies has 62%, CNOC has 8%, and the National Oil Company of Tanzania, which is the Tanzania Petroleum Development Corporation, TPDC, include, the host government agreement. This is the agreement within the Republic of Uganda, the shareholders agreement for all the shareholders that I mentioned earlier, the tariff and transportation agreement, because we are transporting the crude oil to the coast. We had to have a tariff and transportation agreement among the different shareholders, and that was signed in 2021. And the final investment decision was also attained in 2022, and hopefully we'll have financial close in Q1 of 2024. All factors kept constant. ECOP, just like the upstream, has numerous opportunities, employment. We have, there are going to be about more than 5,000 jobs during construction, and this will directly benefit the host communities. Other opportunities include EPC works. EPC is basically looks at engineering, procurement, and construction. This avails numerous opportunities such as fabrication, accommodation, construction, transportation, and other related works. The other key project under UNOC's mandate is the refinery and the Kabalega Industrial Park. The refinery will have a capacity of 60,000 barrels of crude oil per day. What do I mean by refining? Just trying to make it easy in layman. This basically looks at processing the crude oil from the upstream into petroleum products. These petroleum products include liquefied petroleum gas, gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, among others. So the refinery will have these products produced, and we're looking to have a public sector-led financing structure, meaning the government takes the central role in funding and overseeing the project. The update here, the front-end engineering design was also completed and approved. The resettlement action plan was approved. FID is expected hopefully mid-2024 if all goes as planned. And as mentioned earlier, the other key project is the Kabalega Industrial Park. This will host the refinery as well as the crude oil export hub. It will have key industries such as petrochemical, fertilizer industries, and these are anticipated to come on board once the refinery operations begin. There are so many opportunities that will come on board from having the refinery and the Kabalega Industrial Park. These include direct and indirect employment, logistical services, subcontracting, so many opportunities. The other project is the storage terminals and bulk trading. The storage terminals include the Kampala Storage Terminal as well as the Jinja Storage Terminal, and these will be of great benefit to the country. There'll be a source of national storage for the petroleum products. There'll also be a source of revenue for the country through trading and taxes, source of employment, and the bulk trading business will also enhance supply of petroleum products into the country. So the bulk trading business is key for UNOC and the country at large, as it will also be a source of revenue for us all. It will support the different storage projects, and we're looking to build the capacity of Ugandans in bulk trading operations. So that is it in detail with regards to Uganda's oil and gas governance structure and the projects under UNOC. So after all that has been mentioned, one would ask, how are we integrating key topics such as energy transition and ESG into UNOC's work? ESG, basically, these are key topics for the energy sector. ESG stands for environment, social, and governance. And it's a framework used to evaluate and measure the sustainability and the ethical impact of the country. So looking at the environment aspect, this assesses the impact on the environment, looking at factors such as carbon footprint, waste management, energy efficiency, pollution, and the like. So environmental considerations are crucial in addressing climate change and energy transitions and promoting resource management. So UNOC has done quite a lot in this aspect, and I'll talk about it in the latest slide. So when you go to the S aspect, which is the social aspect, the social dimension focuses on how the company manages its relations with people, both within and outside the organization. It encompasses factors such as, social license to operate, diversity, equity, inclusion, human rights, community engagement, national participation, among others. The G, which is the governance, governance basically refers to the systems and structures that the company has put in place to ensure, that the resources, there's effective management, there's accountability, there's, diversity, what are their ethical business conduct, transparency, and the like. So good governance is essential for maintaining the integrity and trustworthiness of the company. So UNOC has put into considerations the ESG and energy transition aspects. Looking at the social aspect, UNOC has established a sustainability committee, and it's deeply involved in ensuring national participation. We have a team of staff that is set to promote local content. A number of initiatives have been put in place, such as, promoting the girl child education in secondary schools around the Albertine Graben, and so many other initiatives. Looking at the environmental aspect, we've also done quite a lot here. We've been involved in the drive to plant 40 million trees under the Climate Action Alliance, and implementing the Environment Social Impact Assessment, which is, abbreviated as ESIA, and Resettlement Action Plan on all the projects within UNOC's mandate. The Climate Action Plan is also under development. The management system that looks at, the quality, health, and safety environment aspects has also been implemented, among others. With regards to the governance, there's also a lot that UNOC has done there. I really won't get into detail, but we have a policy statement in place. There's implementation of diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, and the ESG strategies is also currently under development. And also importantly is the economic responsibility, ensuring that there's business ethics. It's really paramount in any company, including UNOC. There are internal controls on corruption, including declaration of wealth and having zero tolerance to corruption. So I know I have very limited time, so I'll give a quick run with regards to UNOC's work in line with the energy transition. It's important to tie in the energy transition aspects because, the question is, seeing that oil and gas is a depletable resource and we're having the drive to move to renewables, what is it that UNOC is doing to push for aspects with regards to energy transition? So there's a lot that has been done. The global energy landscape is changing, both in terms of energy mix and energy markets. And these changes are currently driven by, several factors: environmental concerns, technological advancements, among others. So the industry is facing a challenge of how to increase energy availability while at the same time reducing environmental effects, especially with regards to carbon emissions. So according to the International Energy Agency, the petroleum resources only account for about 33% of global energy consumption. So the world still needs hydrocarbons to meet its energy demands, but we have to do this in a sustainable manner. So we need to develop and implement technologies that meet the greenhouse gas reduction goals. Just like so many countries, Uganda is highly vulnerable to climate change. So the oil and gas sector has put into consideration things that will enhance and reduce carbon emissions. So Uganda is expected to produce oil and gas, if all factors kept constant, in 2026. And we're optimistic that this will be really a game changer for the economy. So UNOC's focus in the upstream project is informed by long-term focus on sustainability, and will explore many other initiatives in relation to climate change considerations, some of which, as highlighted, is natural gas. So we recognize that natural gas has so many qualities that make it an efficient energy source. Burning natural gas for energy has fewer carbon emissions than burning petroleum products. So UNOC will work to ensure, or is working to ensure, the exploitation and utilization of natural gas. The other initiative is reducing flaring. We will work through with the different operators. As mentioned earlier, we have Total Energies and CNOOC to focus on improving reliability of operations through improved gas processing, carrying out scheduled maintenance, and using technology that ensures reduction of flaring. Additionally, and this is key, Uganda's refinery will produce several products, as mentioned earlier, but these products will have to be in compliance with Euro 4 specifications. So Euro 4 specifications is an internationally recognized specification standard for petroleum products. It is the highest standard. We have, Euro 3, Euro 4, Euro 5. So we are following the Euro 5 specifications, and we'll have to adhere to, World Bank, IFC performance standards, environment, health, and safety guidelines, as well as the good industry practices in the energy space. And last but not least is the aspect of carbon credits. So we'll consider trading in carbon credits to ensure that greenhouse gas emissions are reduced. This will involve, having project owners selling the credits to UNOC as a polluting company to enable us to make claims settling for carbon emissions. So that's something we're looking to engage in the future. So there's so many opportunities in the oil and gas sector. I have given a snapshot of, different aspects such as employment and the like, as well as services such as, hotel management. There are upcoming opportunities in the oil and gas sector. We have opportunities such as consultancy services, for example, in the upstream, where you have geological and, geophysical studies, provision of PPE. PPE basically looks at protection equipment, and provision of security, catering services, provision of seismic processing services, among others. I really won't labor on this, but this will just gives you a snapshot of, the various opportunities that the oil and gas sector has in place. So the question today, or if I'm to tie this to the theme for the day, energy education, the lessons from professionals. Yeah, so I have labored on what the oil and gas sector is doing, what UNOC is doing, the key topics such as energy transition. But what we need to understand is, learning from one another. We always have to teach one another to learn and to always have an upper hand to help where we can. So energy education is a critical aspect for addressing, complex challenges and numerous opportunities, whether it's non-paid, have the necessary exposure in the industry. We need to think long-term. And also key to this is a need to network and be involved in different societies. I encourage you to participate in professional organizations. So create a resume, whether it's to do, with internship or graduate training programs. Put that on your resume. Have, LinkedIn profiles, network, and also practice interview skills. It's never too early to start practicing, such that when you're in that room, they say, where opportunity meets, when you're prepared and an opportunity comes, it's very easy for you to get it. So start preparing for interviews, learn as much as you can in the fields that you're interested in. Yeah, so I encourage you all to, take action, get involved, and start preparing for careers, not only in the oil and gas sector, but in the energy sector as a whole. Thank you very much for your time. I hope I haven't taken up so much of your time, and I open the floor for any questions or comments or reactions. Thank you. Sorry, what was that?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
My question is, okay, as a national company, I thought you'd undertake the project affected persons. I thought you'd maybe undertake or look into that. Then also under energy transition, how is, as a national company, how is it contributing to energy storage and energy security as Uganda is preparing itself to transition? Then, how are you going to undertake the problem of inevitable economic shocks that will come along with energy transition? Thank you.
Unfortunately, I can't hear any question. If you could kindly type out the question in the chat box, that would be helpful. Yes, I can. I've had the question. How is UNOC better prepared to handle the energy transition and the challenges that come with it? Okay, I did mention this in my presentation. Basically, UNOC has done quite a lot with regards to the energy transition. With regards to the projects that it has mandate over, we are looking at aspects such as, ESIA. We've implemented ESIA and resettlement action plans. And the energy transition basically looks at how you can incorporate sustainable technologies within the sector. I highlighted how we're looking at reducing flaring. We're considering Euro 5 standards, World Bank standards, environment standards in all the work that we're doing. Exploring other projects such as natural gas, among others. So there's a lot that has been done with regards to incorporating the energy transition aspects into UNOC's work. We are planting, there's a drive to plant 40 million trees under the Climate Action Alliance. We're promoting liquefied petroleum gas. There's a climate action plan that's under development. There's a QHSE management system. We're having sustainable waste management within the Kavale Industrial Park and other projects that UNOC that is involved in. So there's so much work that's going on with regards to the energy transition and UNOC's work, as mentioned earlier in the presentation. I hope that answers the question. Yes, thank you again for the opportunity, and looking forward to having more students coming to UNOC. You're very welcome. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Miss Anita Ankunda. In her absence, please, a resounding loud of applause for Miss Anita. She is a paragon of rectitude, calm to Chihumuro students. Some of us, we had rarely seen a Fanta, but yeah, thank God that's Fanta, and yeah, I'm happy. Mr. Ezra, I can see you're really active behind there. But please, let's keep calm as the session goes on. Next on agenda, we are to have a presentation from a team by the Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum, headed by Miss Ronia, one of the ladies who have already shaken hands with Paradise. And I must say, Miss Ronia, the students of Chihumuro campus are before you to hear from you, share a lot with you. And to you, the students, these are moments that you should be always welcoming. When we tell you to leave your halls of residence to come here, sometimes we do mean it. You are not a saucepan or a cockroach to stay within the room. So once in a while, come outside and share yourself with great brains around the globe. One of them being Miss Sonia, who is going to take us through a session or through a presentation by the Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum. Miss Sonia, as you take your academic steps towards this great stage that builds collaboration, modern competition, you are most welcome. A loud of applause as you welcome Miss Sonia.
Good afternoon. My name is Ronia Tukamhewa. An oil and gas analyst from Uganda Christian, and I am mastering petroleum, and I am senior coordinator, Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum, We are so honored and privileged to be before you, to share with you whatever we have come with. Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum started in 2010, and that means we are over 10 years in existence. We are a not-profit non-organization. We represent sectors that are private sectors dealing in mining and petroleum, and we help them. We advocate for them. We help them in capacity building. We do information. Yes, so like I already said, our mandate as the UCMP is to lobby and advocate for our members. We help in capacity building through trainings. We also provide a platform for networking through doing sector engagements. We carry out one-on-one engagements to reach out to the people, to our members, to find out their issues, so that we can address them and find out solutions for them. We also do research and development in different aspects. So the main reason why we are here, why we have come here is actually I'm coordinator of this project, and I would love to introduce it to you. The Junior Chamber, we have interest in dealing with you, the youth, you university students, tertiary institutions. We can help you in terms of internships, employment, take you to excursions. So we as the Junior Chamber, we noticed, I myself, when I was studying, when it came to internship, it was during COVID years, it was so hard for me to get a company that would take us on. We tried all the big players in the country, they were not willing to take us on. So we realized, we as the Uganda Chamber of Mines, one of our goals is to deal with you, the youth, so that we can help you in these difficult situations. We already started some projects. For example, we are handling a project with the artisanal miners. We are getting graduate students. We are paying them. We place them to different artisanal points. We are going to educate them, train them, place them in those different sectors where the mining is happening. They will help us to educate the artisanal miners so that they can get something for themselves also. By this, we shall be providing employment to the university students, which we believe when we finish studying, most of us we really suffer with getting jobs. So we believe this could be a stepping stone. Please support us as the Junior Chamber. I started already engaging with the president of the association in Imbara. I think, what's his name again? John something. Yeah, John Baptist, yes, I've been engaging with him. We do cocktail, we do networking, and I've been inviting them, though they did not turn up, but yes, I did invite them so that they can come and network with the different players. We have about 105 key players in the oil and mining industry. So when we invite you as the youth, it's a great platform for you to network with these big players and create job opportunities for yourselves. So I am here to introduce to you the Junior Chamber. Come next year, please. When I come back here, please support us. Let us do the MOUs, and we hope this will be a great one. I will invite Arthur, our information officer, to come and take you on with the next session.
Thank you so much. Sorry about that. I don't deal with the light a lot. I'm Athana Tukunda. I'm working with Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum as an information officer and an assistant research and development officer in the chamber. So it was to you the junior, because it's a project we are taking with MasterCard and Planet Gold, basically to empower the youth such that we can really create opportunities for them. So within the various universities have a standing network for this. As easy as I'm going to get the entire topics you gave to us, them into industry we have, the various companies we have, and such. I will speak as if on the side of the companies. I'm going to try my level best not to be so much, but try to open you up to the industry. So my game will be money, money, and money. So research and development, please. So research and development is basically what I handle. These are various innovations which the people are trying to look at. Nuclear energy innovations, hydrogen technologies, bioenergy and biofuels, carbon capture, and energy efficiency technologies. But besides that, I've happened to interact with a man. It's called Dr. Mujenyi, who is one of the keynote stakeholders we have in the industry regarding mining. He's running an organization called MADI. And I've tried to look through the projects which African Union is trying to fund through on the African continent, such that we can have a better advancement in the entire energy. I don't know whether some of these the universities can embark on. We have the OSES, which are development and demonstration of a sustainable open access, that is through African Union and European Union, through the ecosystem for energy system modeling, coordinated, and that is the university. And we have recycling, and we have survival, that is based on devices for renewable energy. Still, the university have shown it there. Then SOCO, Next Generation, High Africa, and so these projects which you're seeing up here, when a student embark on one of them, and you happen to get out, a university happens to get a breakthrough, these projects are not projects to be kept in the cupboard, as maybe you can handle a university project and one way or the other we shelve it because you have marks for it. Some of these now, the one you see which is embarked on by African Union and European Union, they are looking onto how best can we fund and we make them realistic. Are you getting me? But, I don't know, but let me try to take it a little bit faster. When you look at the trends we have on the globe right now as you're speaking, we have over, I think, around 11 point something million metric tons of lithium. When you tend to evaluate them, according to the statistics which the World Bank gives, is that we can produce only around 3 billion electric vehicles on the market. Now, for you to substitute petroleum as a source of energy so that we can have e-mobility with electric cars, let that and make the batteries and electric energy more cost efficient than we have. You get me? It's as easy as, some time back I was attending a conference, and there is this lady from Chila EV, and she was asked a question, hopefully that you came driving a Chila EV vehicle, and she had no answers. The reason is as simple as, is that if today we go to buy a Chila EV vehicle, right, and someone else is going to buy a Toyota, you'll find that a Toyota is more cheaper in town, than the Chila EV vehicle. Why? Because we have less lithium on the globe. Are you getting me? In comparison with the fuel we are having. And so what do we have? We have to embark on various innovations so that we can substitute the energy we have, all the capacities we have, such that at a certain point we have cleaner fuels which are working very well in substitute of the fossil fuels. Do I make sense? In a simple terms, what you're looking at is a key drive in the market. You've heard of what we call the rare earth minerals. There is a company called, I'm forgetting, is it Wagagai and name, but it has embarked, they have discovered quantifiable minerals, or a quantifiable reserve for rare earth minerals. And if you notice, the entire globe has been relying on China for the rare earth minerals. Are we together? So, for you to get away, the countries realize that, okay, if you're relying on only one country, that means if anything happens, a country can decide to speak anything about the rare earth and we are doomed. Are you getting me? And yet these are the things which we critically need. That's the reason as why they are among the critical minerals. Are you getting me? So, part of the document which Peter Lokeris and the team are trying to present to COP28, is it the end of this year? Around December. There is this part on the Ugandan part. So, I'll just go to, driven by the growth in demand in the energy sector experienced in tripling in demand of lithium, a 70% jump in cobalt and a 40% rise in the demand for nickel. Now, you know the reason as to why we've put out, if you notice, the people who are kindly updated, you've noticed that Chilembe Copper Mines is on bid, and they are trying to get a way of getting a company to enter in so that we can start again copper. If you notice, that more we demand for cleaner energies, energy transition, it brings up, yes, you're not extracting oil, you're putting oil out of the equation, but then you're straining more minerals in need. You get me? Because it's as simple as, if you have a bottle or something and you press it out, you create a void and a space, right? There is something which has to fill that void. Now, that's the same thing we have. So, that as we're putting out, as we phase out oil, as we phase out petrol, diesel, whatever, more batteries are needed, because that will be the gold. It's called black gold, not because of something, because it's a backbone which the entire energy system runs on. Energy, coal, and uranium. I mean, oil, coal, and uranium. That's what we are running on right now. So, if you want to substitute oil out of the entire equation, that means you have to get something which has to capture that demand we have on the globe today. And that's the reason as to why lithium is tripling the demand. And on tripling the demand, we don't have enough supplies to quadruple that demand. Are you getting me? What to put in the market. So, that leaves us in a demand that we have to exploit what we have on the market such that we can cover up that thing. Are you getting me? Now, that's the reason as to why you can't convince His Excellency of Uganda, Museveni, extract. Are you getting me? Because the plan is a transit to cleaner energies. We don't have the money to transit. Are you getting me? So what shall we do? We have to extract oil, get money, invest it in uranium, and we have a cleaner energy. Are we together? So, with that, I'll take me straight to the energy transition plan. So, we accelerate efforts to reach the universal access of clean energy. That's about 57. Domestically energize the growing economic activity, or mitigate near-term energy-related greenhouse gas emission growth, and put them into decline in the longer term. Now, this which Uganda is trying to bring to COP28. And these are some of the suggestions they are trying to bring. But according to their plan, on any global scale, we have scenarios which govern the transition to cleaner energies. Some time back, I was trying to refer to the guys. I'm like, if you see the World Bank or European Union starting emphasizing things like SDGs, those things will start tripling down to the lowest company in the ecosystem or in the entire value chain. How? The ecosystem, or whatever, I mean, the value chain we have right now, they announced the SDGs some time back, right? And the SDGs, I remember some time back when I don't trust the economy, they have no effect on our businesses. Companies in Uganda today were affected by an ESG policies. You've heard talk about it. For any company to work in the petroleum industry, you must measure your carbon footprint. How much are you emitting? Are you getting me? After covering how much you're emitting, you must put in measure policies, all things which are able to fight again or to cover up the carbon footprint you're leaving on the planet. Are you getting me? Now that's the reason as to why companies like Stanbic Bank, they have started that 40 million trees project. No company which can wake up out of the blue and decides to volunteer where it doesn't get money. Are we together? And this is true. Even if it were you. Even if it was your organization, right? You can't put money somewhere unless you expect returns. You get me? It's as simple as, I'll give an example of something. Let's say the Barrow magazine. Okay? The Barrow magazine, for it to work, you must create a magazine which is reliable enough to pay off all its expenses and the cost you've invested in. So what will you do? You'll expose yourself to adverts, and maybe you'll be selling maybe a quarter page or a half a page or something at a different cost, right? In the side that you can cover up the cost of the magazine and work at it at a profit. Are you getting me? Now, that's the same thing with the other company. To the scenarios which the energy transition, we have the stated policy scenario, announced pledges scenario, and the net zero emissions by 2050. Fossil fuels, that is coal, oil, natural gas, provide up to 80% of the total energy. That is according to the statistics in 2019, right? There is a report called World Energy Outlook 2023. So it gives some of these statistics. Okay? So, by 2030, solar energy is expected to surpass coal, a source of net zero emissions scenario. The stated policies scenario is where we invent policies to work in favor of the energy transition. Okay? And then the announced pledges scenarios, this is where we force companies, or we try to indulge companies in one way or the other to pledge a certain amount in order to cover up the carbon footprint. Are you getting me? And then the net zero emissions, that's no brainer. We don't debate about it. The World Bank is into it, and the entire globe. They are into this because they want, by 2050, we want the world harmonized back to how it was. Are you getting me? It's somehow, sometimes I say it's unrealistic, but however, with very tough goals, people are into it. Then I'll go straight to some of these curves, which are saying up. For investment during the energy transition, right now as we're speaking, and another one where I'm comparing the global, these are the green, is the green energy, and up is the fossil fuel. Are you getting me? I'll first explain when you look at the energy transition, from the year 2018 to 2022, are we together? You're trying to see that the companies are investing a lot of money into it. Are you getting me? Despite even the fact in 2020 when we had COVID. So the fossil fuel investment, it's enough. Fossil fuel, even after COVID, the fall still had a sharp rise. You're getting me? So we still have a debate about how best can we manage this. Go up, we have the fossil fuel curves going down. They had anticipated, or they anticipate that around 2028, 2029, 30, we expect to have where the investment in the solar and the investment in the greener energies is at an equilibrium. If we reach at that point, if we happen to ascertain that, now, that's according to the scenarios I've given. But if factors remain the way we see and how people go and sit in COP and countries are being fined because they're not meeting their expectations than what we expect to have. Are you getting me? So, now that brings us to where we are right now, and this kind of engagement where we want to empower the youth, or some of us even us ourselves, that how best can we live, how best can we empower the youth, how best can we work with various organizations such that we can leave the planet in a better place. You know, some of us, I normally say that as you're on the earth, we really need to have a harmonious environment, that you leave the world in a better environment than I found it, isn't it? Because you don't wish your child to be in an environment which is worse. You get me? So, this is a report, World Energy Outlook, and these are some of the critical which we are trying to look at to come through this transition. I'm going to rush through because I'm getting off time. And some of these, they help us in the manufacturing of these things, wind turbines, solar panels, electric vehicles, battery storage, and whatever. And besides, there is the doers, the donors, and the practitioners. Now, the skills you have. I was coding a data analysis program. And I remember it was one of the best back then at my time. And IT has led me anywhere. But I did oil and gas throughout my entire time. So in case you're trying to pursue your career, try to do something which shall give you a growth, which shall take you somewhere, which shall add a skill on you. Number 2, no person will ever teach you how to wear, how to speak, how to present yourself, those are things school can never teach you. Are you getting me? It costs you nothing to trim off your hair or to look gentle or to come and looking decent. It's a small thing, but when you reach in big people and they look at you unpresentable, even if you're wise, how they won't perceive what you're speaking. So, as you pursue your career, try so much adopting those soft skills, simple things. And I bet you won't flop on the streets. Thank you so much. I'm Arthur Natkonda.
Thank you so much, the team from Uganda Chamber of Mines and Petroleum. A loud of applause for such a wonderful team. They have clearly stated their subject matter very well, the way they have articulated their points with great passion and enthusiasm. We send our sincere gratitude to the Uganda. We are going to have another session, but I'm not in a better position to do this.
Hello, everyone.
Other than invite Mr. JB Eshana, the president of SPE, to handle that. However, there is a small announcement to make, actually 2 announcements. Please, we beseech you not to move out because we have organized a breathtaking and mouth-watering meal at the end of the event. Please stay around, don't leave this food for us. This food is meant for you. So please don't go, just exhibit and exercise a little bit of more patience, and as well you can call other people to come because there is food. Then there is a national pitch event that is going on currently, organized by StartHub. You are kindly requested to go online and vote for the teams that are representing our Faculty of Applied Sciences and Technology, where we have Smart, Kuku, Broda, and very many others. Please endeavor to be part and parcel of such.
For all of you who have come to attend this event.
So Energy for Me is a program under the Society of Petroleum Engineers, where we teach communities about energy and the energy industry. And
Energy for Me journey. With that, I'd like to thank JB and his team for making this happen. I guess that's enough about me. Now on to the Energy for Me program, which I am tasked to let you know more about. Energy for Me. So SPE launched Energy for Me in 2007. So that was about 16 years ago, as integrated energy educational public outreach program that aims to promote information about how energy works in our everyday lives. Energy for Me is designed to deliver educational resources by providing appropriate age-specific curriculum materials and help students of all ages find balanced information about energy, in particular, oil and gas. Realizing that energy education is not a topic that is widely taught in school systems globally, our hope is to make this curriculum available to teachers for use in their classrooms. So essentially, Energy for Me's objectives are to first educate the teachers about the industry and to equip them with the resources needed to educate the students. We have partnered with National Energy Education Development Project based in Virginia, USA, to help develop a curriculum that underpins the STEM subjects, so Portuguese, Russian, Chinese, and French. And finally, Energy for Me is not a boring lecture. As I indicated earlier, we incorporate hands-on activities to all Energy for Me events to make it stimulating, educational, and exciting all at the same time. So hopefully in today's session, you'll learn more about this and get the first-hand experience about what Energy for Me is really all about. And I'm sure our Energy for Me ambassadors are going to be there with you all the way to tell you about Energy for Me program and more. With that, I encourage you all to be a part of the growing roster of Energy for Me and become one of our Energy for Me ambassadors. We need your help in promoting energy education in Uganda and beyond. You can visit our website, www.energyforme, for more information, or do not hesitate to reach out to me via email. That's lrodriguez@spe.org. Become our next Energy for Me ambassador and help us promote energy education to your local area. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful session.
Thank you for listening into that presentation. So our outreach programs will be conducted in February next year at the schools I have mentioned. And once again, I would love to encourage all the students to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ishana Kauta John Baptist, for taking us through that wonderful session. In the absence of Miss Lou Rodriguez, please send our sincere gratitude to her. Ladies and gentlemen, a loud of applause for Miss Lou Rodriguez. SPE does not end in Chihumuro. That's why you have even had someone who is across being watched by Miss Lou Rodriguez. A hand clap for yourselves. First and foremost, I take this opportunity to welcome the PAU Petroleum Authority of Uganda, who are going to take us through the next session. This team is led by, within a presentation of around 10 minutes, because really time is not on our side. It is not the best ally of man. Mr. Gilbert and Mr. Bruce, the students of Chihomoro, first in particular, are willing to learn from you, willing to share with you, please, you can take your academic steps as you propel towards this great stage that combines the dreamers and the achievers.
But before I go far, we are the nearest neighbors on all the schools you've talked about. And I would assume when you make noise here, we are the first people that would come to your rescue. Not so? So, Mr. Chairman, please edit that list. And also, the order of priority, start with your neighbors. Our presentation, we have 4 parts. We have introduction, then talk about the global oil and gas industry, then management of petroleum sector in Uganda. My friend Gilbert will take you through that. And opportunities and challenges that we face in the industry for now. To start with, to shed some light on the term value chain. Value chain is used most often, and many people may not know what it means. Chain, it starts with the upstream side, where we deal with exploration. And in exploration, that's where a team of geologists and geophysicists go to the field. In most cases, they go to an area where no one expects oil. For example, in Uganda, someone can go to Karamoja and they start exploring for oil and gas. So exploration, it starts with the geologists and geophysicists. And in this case, they use at first, it starts when it's at a large scale, and at a large scale, we use the methods that can cover, let me say, the whole Uganda in one day. In that case, they use the electromagnetic surveys, and when you pinpoint where you expect your oil to be, that's where now you focus on. That's when you get in to do the seismics. I assume you're familiar with these terms, right? That's where you undertake the seismics. So after undertaking the seismics, you identify the area you want to drill. So when you drill and find oil, you move to another stage, which is one point. Then from Kabare, it continues to Tanzania. So now from there, as the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, we leave it to this other part of downstream. So it's in downstream where the ministry and guidance on how they are going to do their activities. What the guidance on how they are going to do their activities. What the Petroleum Authority does is to regulate and monitor the activities, and also we ensure those companies comply with the rules that have been set. The rules, we are going to get to them as we go on. And the downstream. Now all these and the downstream. Now all these, they have other regulations that spell them, just like we can say there are 10 commandments, but within the Bible there are other chapters that really talk more about them. So the regulations, which are the upstream regulations, the technical HSE and metering, and national content regulations, these ones spell out the upstream, the Petroleum Exploration Development and Production Act. The same thing with the midstream. They have the regulations, the HSE national content and technical aspects that spell out more, that give more details on what should be done as per the act is concerned. And also the agreements that are associated with sense, it gets into agreement with the government to determine when finally oil is hit. Areas of regulation, one, we have the petroleum data management. We are the custodians of exploration and production data. When you're doing your research and maybe you need some data, it's us you have to first apply to. Then we may request on behalf of you to the company. Because as right now, when we give out a license, let me say we've given CNOOC or Total a license, Total becomes the owner of that data. So when you request to POW, and POW tells you, wait a bit, and we see what we can do. We are going on our knees to Total or CNOOC to plead with them that, by the way, these are our students, these are the people you may want to employ in the future, please give them data. So we are on our knees on your behalf when you request for data. But there is data for the areas that are not yet licensed. So I don't know if you know about this, but the whole of Albertine Graben only 40% is licensed. So we have this other 60%, which is not licensed, but there's work that has been done on it, and we have that data, which when you request, the authority can give it to you without pleading with anyone. Then the resource management, we have the reservoir management. We are supposed to know these fields. Let me say the field is the surface part. The reservoir is the lower part. So we are supposed to monitor the reservoir and we guide on how the production is going to be. So when you give these oil companies a license, a go-ahead to now go and produce, they'll want to produce and get their money in one day. And it doesn't make sense for us. See, when you, let me say, produce in one day, you're going to get much less oil than what you would have got if you had taken your time, if you had become patient. So we are on our companies to tell them, by the way, this oil, you don't have to produce all of it in 5 years. No, you can take time and produce it in 25 years. When you push in 5 years, first of all, you're going to produce, let me say, 100 barrels. I'm just giving an example, 100 barrels. But when you give it time, in 25 years, you produce slowly. You're going 1,000 barrels. Then we have, we discussed with the companies on the optimal recovery mechanism, the very many, of enhanced oil recovery, secondary oil recovery and primary oil recovery. Then we also report the amount of oil we have or the amount of resources we have at the end of each year. And we send the report to the minister. And it's done 5 barrels. We have 1 point something reserves. But now that has been static for the last how many years? So the docket for this, apparently you can say it's idle. But when production begins, you realize that every after 1 year, our reserves reduce. So people are going to be eagerly waiting to know, yes, last year we had 6.5. How much do we have now? How much do we have then? Then how long is it going to take us? Because for now what we have, it's a forecast. We are planning on having this oil for the next 25 years. That's a forecast. But when real production begins, you realize, hey, we are talking of 25 years, but our oil may take us only 10. Or we may, on a brighter side, we may realize our oil may take us up to 35 years. So for now, that's a forecast. Then we do the cost monitoring. On cost monitoring, we have approval of work programs. On approval of work programs, every year, the oil companies are supposed to share with the authority what they are going to do in line with the development of their fields. Let me say CNOC is undertaking development and production. They are planning on drilling, the plan is to drill 21 wells. So they may tell us, let me say 2023 want to drill 3 wells, 2024 want to drill 4 wells. So they come to the authority with their proposal and we tell them, no, why are you drilling only 4? Why can't you drill only 2? And then they give us their budgets. They tell us maybe to drill 1 well, it's going to be 50 million. Then we also go back and make research and we tell them, but in Ghana, they are drilling wells at 25 million. Then you see that discussion. So those are the budgets that we pass. Otherwise, when you sit back and you give them to decide, they will come with a budget at the end of the day. Tell you, no, our 1 well we drilled was 100 million, when in actual sense, a well can be drilled for only 20. I'm just giving these figures, rough figures. It's not the exact values. Then we also monitor the health, safety, security, social, and environmental management. So on this, these companies that come, they may not really be interested in, let me say, for example, Total is operating in the national park. They don't gain in anything on the national park. For them, they may want to come, drill their oil, and go. They may not mind what they are leaving behind. So as authority, we work with other institutions. In this case now, there is UWA. We make sure that the oil they are taking, it's in an environmentally friendly manner. Like he had discussed before, there are also other agendas we subscribe to. We want to make sure the oil is taken out in a climate change, the manner that is in line with the climate change guidelines that have been globally sent. That's why he was trying to talk of a silent rig. Now we have a walking rig. You guys should take some time and come and see this. It's interesting. I think I've had some students who found me in the field sometime. the schools join and send a group at a go. If you write to authority, those opportunities are there. And I think most times the authority is in position to provide some kind of funding to that, because it is something we can easily defend in our budget. Then we also follow through the national content. In this case, we make sure these companies are employing Ugandans. So there are some jobs which you can look at and you're like, but a Ugandan can do this. Why are you employing a Chinese? So we follow through with these companies to know who is doing this, what is its requirement, and why are you not having this one. Then the capacity building, we try also to attend lectures where we are invited. We also try to force these companies, not necessarily to force, but to encourage these companies to extend their trainings to the institutions, to the schools, to the community, and to other stakeholders. Then we have linkages with other sectors, like we have said. We work with UNRWA, we work with UWA, we work with very many other companies, so we keep on updating them on what's happening. The global oil and gas industry, I will rush through this. This is more of history on how oil was first used as a lubricating item for the machinery and distillation for lamps. The first, that Captain Drake was the first one to drill a well. It was also on a hit and miss chance. There was no subsurface data that was required. So there was no technology by then, but now with the invasion of technology and improvement of everything, things are much better. I won't dwell much on this. Then the characteristics of oil and gas. Now, oil and gas is a non-renewable resource. They have sung it very many times. I won't go through this. Then this sector is capital intensive and long-term. In long-term being, we started exploration in 1925. By then we had a government geologist who was a white whale, and there is a lot of literature for him, that government geologist. Then things kept quiet along the way. Companies came and left, until 2006 when we hit our first oil. That was exploration. That's when we hit our first oil. That's when we got to know that Uganda has oil. That's when we could go in public and debate. When people are talking about oil, we also sit on the table. But from then, you can count. There are over 20 years now, 20 or 18 years that have passed. We have not done anything. And it's not like we are behind schedule or what, but we are trying to follow the right procedures. My friend Gilbert is going to talk about later. Then the sector is high risk and high return. He picked an example of Heritage Oil, got a license and invested only 140 million, but got 1.5 billion in return when it sold after hitting oil. But before that, there were other companies that came, like Dominion. They came, they invested, they hit dry oil, and went back. A lot of money was sunk in. We can go next. So this is the distribution of oil reserves by the region. We have the Middle East controls, really, it's the one which produces the most oil at the moment, followed by the American countries, and also Europe having the least, less than 1%. But when you go to the next slide, you will find that these countries which are producing the least, they're among the countries which are using the most. We have the chart for the production and the chart for the consumption. Africa produces, where is Africa? Africa is the light green one, the second on the top. We produce a bit more, but we consume a bit less. Then you see Europe, the one in gray, it produces the least, but it consumes the most. The reason can be Europe has already depleted most of its oil and gas resources. It's now depending on other oil companies, and it feels it's insecure in this as it stands right now. And that may explain the hard push for renewable, but I don't want to go there, sir, Mr. Arthur. I think do I have any other thing? Yeah, in compulsion, countries to country has, and terms of reserves, we have around it's around 10,000, what? 1,000, not 1,000. We have 1 million barrels, 1 billion barrels. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's 1,000 million, which is 1 billion barrels. We have 1 billion barrels. Those are reserves, not resources. There's a difference. I hope we understand. Resources is what is available. Reserves is what, after sitting back, you realize we can recover this, and it makes economic sense with the technology that is available at the moment, not the technology you're thinking about in future. So that's the only difference between reserves and resources. Then production, we project we are going to be producing 230,000 barrels per day when we are at our peak, and that's going to take around 5 years. The comes from the 40,000 in Kingfisher and the 190 in Tirenga, but I think Gilbert is going to take the oil prices. The prices in up and down. It's not something new. You can see from the start. In 1980, there was an increase, then a decrease, an increase. And this increase and decrease, they also determine as government how much you take. So when there is an increase in oil prices, you as government, you have high bargaining power. So you can sit down and say, okay, if you're giving me this, I don't want, I'm remaining with my oil. But when the prices go low, now we also go begging. But like, by the way, we have oil. If you come, we are going to, you give very good deals to them. Then when the red arrows, these were very significant impact. In 2008, there was global crisis. I think we remember that. Then there was also global inventory growth. Now, the oil was too much on the market. Then the storage became less. So they decided to reduce the price so that they can first clear off the inventory they had. Then after, in 2020, there was COVID-19. Of course, with COVID-19, everything was on standstill, so there was no much oil that was being used. And then that sharp increase also reflects to, it's associated with the Russia-Ukraine war, where there was a ban on Russia exporting its oil. And now it means the supply from other sources was very low. Yeah, I'll stop there, then Gilbert is going to take us through in the rest of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bruce. I think we've been seated for quite a long time. Safety-wise, it's not okay. It is understandable that in the industry, it is a norm, safety first. So I will request that we use 1 minute, stand up, stretch a bit, before we can proceed with this interesting communication. Yeah, just stretch a bit. Okay, a minute is done, please. I understand we are already out of time. We will run through this very fast. I always don't want to speak when people's minds are now focused on food. But this very fast and yeah, let's. So in terms of management of the break caused some bit of chaos. It's okay. Next slide. So in terms of management of petroleum in Uganda, we, in form of the upstream, Somebody reminded me that when I come, I need to introduce myself. Okay, I'm Jenny Gilbert, and with the Petroleum Authority, I work as a reservoir geologist under the Directorate of Development and Production. So shouldn't the oil come to the surface, that is the directorate to pin, okay? But once it comes to the surface, then it's no longer our business. It goes to midstream. So in the upstream, this is to do with exploration now at this phase. So we have actually several exploration licenses were given. For instance, you are aware of Ama Energy taking on Kanyataba, and at the same time, it has come back as DGR Global to take on Traco. Then Oranto Petroleum has 2 exploration licenses over Angasa Field. You understand there is the upper play and the lower play, so they are 2 in 1, and they are all licensed to Oranto. And then our own baby, the Uganda National Oil Company, has also acquired Kasurubani. Then in terms of the upstream, you know, we have 2 flagship projects, that is the Tilenga and the Kingfisher. As we partook, we are now into development drilling. We already have some wells that are complete, but we haven't started production. Expect that in 2025 as per the plan. We expect to be producing 230,000 barrels of oil from Tilenga and 40,000 barrels of oil per day from Kingfisher. Both combined total up to 230, okay? Maybe some correction. For Tilenga, it is 190. Then 40 for Kingfisher, which total up to 230. Next, please. Then for the commercialization projects, we have the refinery. You all understand, and you are very sure that there was a discussion that was going on with the AGEC, but that couldn't yield so much. However, government has gone ahead to ask new investors that are willing to come in and take on that venture. So discussions are still ongoing. As for the ECOP, we have progressed. We are now into surface clearing, and very soon we will start laying the pipes. Let's go on. Now, part of the works we monitor, but the Ministry of Energy has taken this far ahead of the authority in terms of land acquisition. So that one is ongoing, and then the new house that was constructed for her. This is the, she's enjoying her heaven on earth, I should say. Then on the other side, it is showing the annual investments into the sector, and we are talking of about $15 billion being invested in just the development phase for these projects. That's a lot of money, and as a country, if we haven't prepared enough, we still have room to prepare and take on some portion from this money, some great portion. In terms of opportunities and challenges, please we go on. Yes, we have listed the services, the goods and services that have been ring-fenced for Ugandan companies and Ugandans. I should emphasize on this. You will not find international companies or companies that have come outside of Uganda and East Africa at large doing these activities, providing security, for instance, doing waste management, and a number of those. They are available on the website of the PAU. You can always visit. This can encourage you maybe to visit. And then to the students, what is very key for us is the National Oil and Gas Talent Register, or NOGTR. How many are registered there? By just a show of hands. I can count about 4 or 5 people. That's quite embarrassing. And the registration doesn't need you to pay even a single coin. You just need to have a NIN and your academic documents. You just submit them there and you're registered. What does it help you for you to be registered on the NSD? Okay, NSD is for companies. But on the NOGTR, some companies don't want to engage into businesses of getting other companies, pay them, go to recruit for them. Because at the end of the day, if a company recruits an individual, we ask them to lead any expatriate. We need to be sure that a Ugandan that is around and has the skills and the knowledge to perform that work has been contacted and maybe is not available to take on the role. So, to confirm that, that's why we check. We make those checks as the authority. So, it is to your benefit to register with the NOGTR and get known to the authority and the potential recruiters. Then for the NSD is for companies. Some of you, your mothers, your fathers, and even yourselves have companies that would want to provide services and goods to the oil and gas sector. It is mandatory that you must register with the NSD. Why are we doing this? You understand that as government gets money through taxes, and it is also to help you, the employees that the companies have taken on, to be able to get your retirement benefits in the form of NSSF. It is mandatory for a company to take on a contract. They must be registered on the NSD, and one of the key requirements is that their employers, they pay for them NSSF. And NSSF is for you, is for me. Let's proceed. Now, these are some, remember the title was talking about opportunities and challenges. Now, here we are looking at basically the challenges. And one of the challenges is that we have disinformation. For instance, look at that map of East Africa. We all did geography, not so? It was mandatory, I'm sure, at all levels. It was mandatory. And we at least know the rivers, the drainage of the East African countries. That is a total lie, not so? And they are putting it in papers and telling people, please do not finance ECOP. It is crossing all these rivers. And then we are also seated at the back and watching. No, let's confront them. Some people are coming up and saying, oh, no, stop ECOP. You saw those in France that came up with such campaigns. All these are challenges that the project is facing. Additionally, in terms of attracting finances and investment, companies to invest in our projects, when such campaigns are ongoing, then some of the biggest financiers of such projects would say, no, this is a high-risk business. I cannot put in my money. So such challenges really are hard for us, and to counteract them is for us to get to such podiums and tell the truth, okay? You've heard and seen the minister emphasizing this on quite a number of platforms where she has appeared. Next, please. Yeah, so for some of the lessons we have learned as the authority is good practices in management of the sector. For instance, we have adopted a model that has been used by countries like Norway. If you that have had oil, of the authority being the regulator, that's the PAU, and then having UNOC taking on the government participation and handling the commercial interests on behalf of the nation, and then having the ministry the Directorate of Exploration and Production taking on the policing and the licensing aspect. So another one is practicing oil and gas operations in ways that reduce carbon emissions. That has been mentioned on quite a number of presentations that were made today, and I don't really need to add so much to it. We don't flare, we don't accept that in our country. Lastly, there was something to do with the working rig, but that was mentioned by my colleague. Then the geopolitics. Now, how does it come in? We've seen the pursuit for energy and security. You've heard about the Russian war with Ukraine, and now we have the Palestine and Israel. All these are key contributors to what the prices of oil can look like. Okay, we've had the COVID that cut across the nation, and of course it brought around some changes in the oil prices, and then the climate change agenda. The people talking about the clean energy. It was put very clear here that 80% of the world's energy consumption is being provided by oil and gas. So if we run away from the oil and gas at this moment, how are we going to live? Where shall we get the compensation for the 80%? So as Uganda, as a nation, we still say, no, let's go into energy integration instead of energy transition. We will transit when we are in the state of countries like America, countries like Europe, but even the UK, we've seen it. Say, okay, Uganda, please stop. Do not go to stop ECOP and all sorts of things. And then they are issuing exploration licenses into the North Sea. What kind of, anyway, I leave it to you. But as a country, yes, those are some of the challenges we're coming back, okay? Some of these will answer some of the questions you could be having. One of them is that the world has evolved, and that is clear. And the energy sector, 80% fully, then we can comfortably say, let's do away with oil. Is committed and continues to regulate gas to ensure that we have lasting value for society, and we encourage more people to come in the event of there is support from government towards this course, the training of people in the oil and gas, the skills and knowledge. Exploration activities, of course, these are still ongoing, and expect that by the end of next year, at least we will have an exploration well drilled in some of the areas that are under exploration. Maybe I will leave the rest for you to read. I already understand people's minds are focused to lunch, but this presentation will be available for you. As a food for thought, yes, innovation is very key for this world, and as long as you're still at school, I believe you still have enough time to think and utilize the available library and innovate. We very well understand that energy can never be destroyed nor created, but it can be transformed from one form to another. So, as that transformation is happening, you can create another way that is maybe going to contribute to the 80%. You never know.
I would love to invite the Dean, Dr. Jones Obongoloch. I would also love to invite Ms. Ronia and Mr. Gilbert, as well as Mr. Katunji Roni. when I read out your name, we're giving out 14 awards to some of the students, faculty, and alumni who have contributed greatly to the success of our chapter. They've done tremendous work, as I'll be describing for each one of them. Yeah, so I read out your name. Please come in front. Yeah, so the first award goes to a gentleman. He has served passionately with the Society of Petroleum Engineers and other societies. He's a talented musician. He's good at sound systems. He always wakes up in the morning when you have functions to set up the sound system. Yeah, he's very good at productions, and he does all this without pay. Join me to welcome Jeremiah Ziwa. Yes, you are greatly appreciated. Yes. Yeah, sorry, I hadn't read what it says. So the title is Vanguard Award for Outstanding Contributions. Vanguard Award for Outstanding Contributions. So this award is presented to the named person in heartfelt recognition of their outstanding service to the Society of Petroleum Engineers, MAST chapter. Your dedication has been invaluable in shaping our community. She's very passionate. She has helped the chapter lobby. She also helped. This next award goes to an alumnus. He is in the class that is awaiting graduation. He was a former president of SPE, and he qualified to take part in the International Student Paper Contest that was held in Accra this year. Please join me to welcome Lutako Merenika. Goes to an alumnus. He was the very first president of SPE, and he contributed tremendously towards the acquisition of the chapter. Please join me to welcome Kotura Innocent. Someone can come and pick his award. This next award goes to a member of our faculty. He is a he's an electrical engineer by training. He did oil and gas engineering in China. He participated in Petrobal while doing his masters in China. And he is a big donor for the Society of Petroleum Engineers at MAST. Please join me to welcome Mr. Patrick Kabanda. Goes to a student. He participated in Petrobal. He is very committed to his studies, and he has grasped a lot of content. Please join me to welcome Okelo Jovin. Just to give you a brief background about Petroball. Petroball is an about Petroball. Petroball is an quiz competition, and our university has really Petroball. Our team won nationals and qualified for Africa, where we also managed second, thus securing our place at the World Championship that was held in USA. So this next award goes to another student, an alumnus. She was the only female member of the Petroball team. Yeah, she's really intelligent. Please join me to welcome and can come and pick her award. This next award goes to another alumnus. Yeah, he was a very good member of the Petroball team, and he's a very good soccer player. Someone guess who this is? Yeah, join me to welcome Oscar Azokire. Goes to a student. Yeah, he has he's participated in quite a lot of things, and he has won quite a lot of awards. And he's the president of SPE. Please join me to welcome me myself, Kauta John Baptist Eshana.
Chizike baby yampako wakuba omuyindi era nga njochayo taninda kumusaba nze baby yampako.
So the next award goes to an alumnus. He is an assistant lecturer right now. There are those students who really excel and we retain them here. Yeah, he's a very stubborn guy. He stood for guild president. Unfortunately, some stubborn people here did not vote him. His nickname is Kana Kambata. He was the captain of the Petroball team. Please join me to welcome Mugambe Victor. The next award goes to the coach, the former coach of the Petroball team, Njalebuza Ronald. Payan, please come and pick his award. As he's coming, I would love to invite all the people that have been awarded to come and join us in the cake cutting. Also our dear guests, join us in the cake cutting. after which we shall go for our meals.
Such a wonderful moment. To the awardees, please, we must say, we thank you so much for the wonderful work you have done. You have just not beat the competition, you crushed it, and we have borrowed a leaf. Allow me to also welcome myself and welcome you to the session of cutting the cake. All awardees, please, you are kindly requested to come forward together with our distinguished guests. Please come forward and be part and parcel for this story that will live along in the minds of men. Please, all awardees, Mr. Kana Kambata, Mr. Payan behind there, you are most welcome. The SPE executive, you are most welcome. Come and be part. Watchman, one of intellectual integrity, and that is none other than the head of Department Petroleum Engineering and Environmental Management, who is a trainee in or as far as the electrical engineering sector is concerned, and of course a tiger or a lion of wisdom as far as the petroleum industry is concerned, and that is none other than Mr. Kabanda Patrick. Ladies and gentlemen, a loud of applause as we welcome Mr. Kabanda Patrick to close this session. Thank you so much. Mr. Kabanda Patrick, you're most welcome.
Thank you, MC, for that humbling introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. All protocol observed. I thank our distinguished guests for really gracing this occasion, for honoring our invitation, and making it to this day. As a faculty advisor, I work with the faculty administration, that is the dean and deputy dean, and then the chapter executive. Okay. My role is essentially to offer guidance here and there, but you find that the executive committee really are in the driving seat. Okay, so credit goes to the executive committee and their appointed working groups, and also the faculty administration, the dean and deputy dean. We thank our distinguished guests from different sectors. When we talk about energy, and energy for me, a number of good presentations have been made. The lessons from the professionals to the students. Okay, so what has been put forward is that the energy industry is multidisciplinary. Okay, and as we can tell from the membership of the chapter, from mainstream as the Society of Petroleum Engineers, we look at majority mainstream as STEM, okay? Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So this event is not only to mainstream petroleum engineers, oil and gas, okay, but to any engineering aspirant out there who can contribute to the energy industry, okay. We've appreciated that energy is broad. We have the non-renewables and the renewables, okay. We have the major elements, okay, oil and gas, coal, natural gas being at the forefront, but then also we have the renewables at the other end. Solar being predominant. We are blessed. We are a country along the equator, so we can really harness solar energy. But we also have others, wind, geothermal, okay, and many others. I think in East Africa, Kenya is a leading country in geothermal energy. So energy is a broader industry, and most of us, the engineers in this place, the aspirants, we can contribute to this industry, okay? The key thing which has come out strongly is sustainability. All of us, we need to aim at utilizing these resources in a sustainable manner. Actually, yesterday we had a workshop, quality assurance workshop, and one of the presenters, a collaborator from China, was Professor Liu Yongfeng. She made a presentation on green skills. How can we incorporate green skills in curricula. And by green, the meaning is any skills, knowledge, processes which address climate change and the environmental requirements and regulations of sustainability. Okay, and as we transition, the previous presenters really have laid a clear roadmap. Okay, we should have an understanding that we have to employ an energy mix, but then also that the progress, given the level of development, we can't be at the same pace as the first world countries. We are a developing country, but then also we have an understanding that these countries which are now fostering the energy transition, which is ultimate, yes, but they're biggest consumers of these non-renewables. Okay, so as a country, we are taking baby steps, and as engineering aspirants, your takeaway is how can you be contribute to this sustainability? Your innovations, your aspirants should be in a sense that you're contributing to sustainability. With that said, I thank our guests from industry. Really, they give us, the students, this perspective of what is really out there, what is happening in the field, and at a glance, you get to appreciate current trends, current standards, current practices. So we really appreciate you so much, and I thank you for reaching out to the youth, this young generation, because the status of a country is usually in the hands of the youth. Yes, and preparing them, equipping them is all what we can do as faculty and as professionals in industry. I thank you. Then maybe the section chair send his apologies. He couldn't make it here because of a few challenges here and there, and he had sent his remarks. Because next on the agenda is the remarks from the section chair, from Anthony Obadiah Kato, and really I kindly request to read them out to us all. I will read. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us at the SPE Energy for Me conference, organized at the Mbarara University of Science and Technology, MUST SPE student chapter. Today, we gather here at the Kihumuro campus in Mbarara, Uganda, to explore the theme, Energy Education, Lessons from Professionals, Academia, and Students. Before we delve into the heart of today's discussions, I would like to extend a sincere apology on behalf of the SPE Uganda Section Board. Unfortunately, due to unavoidable circumstances, I'm unable to physically attend the event. However, our thoughts and support are with you, and we appreciate your understanding. The SPE Uganda section, established in 2011, is a subsidiary of SPE International, a non-for-profit professional association with more than 100,000 119,000 members in 138 countries engaged in oil and gas exploration and production. The section membership comprises professional members from corporate entities such as Total Energies, E&P Uganda, Sindoc Uganda Limited, Shilambaje Oilfield Eastern Limited, E360 Group Limited, G&G Skills Limited, the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, among others, and 6 student chapters, that is Makerere University, Kyambogo University, Nkumba, International University of East Africa, UPIC, and the Mbara University of Science and Technology. The mission of the SPE is to connect a global community of engineers, scientists, and related energy professionals to exchange knowledge, innovate, and advance their technical professional competence regarding the exploration, development, and production of oil and gas. And
that will come in after the photo, which is going to take place outside there. We have kindly come to the end of our session. I must thank you for locomoting from your places of residence to come and be part and parcel of this great session. The Energy for Me.
Thank you.